Welcome to the New Normal. I am your host, Rafael McMaster, and I'm here at Resin Creative Labs in Hermosa Beach. Today is the 8th episode, and the topic for today is going to be gratitude. And gratitude not just as a concept or as a word, but really gratitude as a tool. And in under 8 minutes here, in around 8 minutes, we're going to try and get into gratitude as a tool and how to bring it into our life in a way that's most effective, at least how we teach it to our students here in our Creative Wisdom Tools program that we teach here every week. It's a social emotional learning program that focuses on actual tools that our students can use to be able to, deal with life on life's terms. And so in the previous episodes, we began introducing the tools. And the tools in whole are acceptance, awareness, intention, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, connection, and soul esteem. Those are the 8, all right? And so right now we are on acceptance, awareness, intention, gratitude, the 4th tool, gratitude. Okay, so let's talk about gratitude. Now, gratitude is a tool. The way we like to teach it is that gratitude isn't a thought, right? But it's a feeling. And that it doesn't happen in the brain, although it might originate there, right? So with some seeds of thoughts, but it really exists in the heart, right? A state of being in the heart. And we have our students begin to make lists that are in 3 different buckets. And you as the viewer, I welcome you to make these lists as well, to begin to kind of tease gratitude apart and begin looking at the different types of gratitude so that you can have these different visions to be able to pull on, okay? So we're going to talk about almost these 3 different buckets of gratitude. And my hope is going through these exercises, you can find an example for yourself for each one of these. And then you'll have 3 examples, 3 kind of visions or experiences or notions that you can pull up to get back into that state of gratitude. And we're going to do an exercise at the end on how we teach getting into the heart and staying into the heart with gratitude. So the first type of gratitude is the pleasantness of the moment. Something very simple, the most obvious definition and explanation of the concept of gratitude. I feel grateful that I have a family that I love and enjoy. I feel grateful that the sun is shining today. I'm having a really wonderful day. I can list I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for the artwork that I get to do. It's a really kind of the most obvious list. And usually when people make gratitude lists, this is where they pull their gratitude from, right? And part of the challenge or part of the opportunity on how we like to teach gratitude as a tool is to go from the head to the heart, okay? And at the end of this, we'll be doing exercises where you're gonna have your hand on your heart, you're gonna send your consciousness, the focus of your consciousness to your heart, and we're gonna go through some of these things on our different lists. So this first list is common things that you're grateful for in the day, grateful for in the now, okay? The second list are things that we feel fortunate for. An example is, I don't know the exact number, but I believe roughly 1 billion people don't have food security, don't have running water and energy and power and sewage, right? And so if I can just for a second, just for a moment, really put myself in those shoes of what it would be like to not be able to know where my child's next meal is coming from, right? To not have health insurance, to not have, a place to go to the bathroom. Wow, not have hot water. Wow, if I can really get there and not get there in here, but take a second and feel that, right? I begin to be able to draw on the gratitude I have for those things that I might find basic every day, but that I'm fortunate for. And we also teach, the opportunity to reframe some of the simple things in our life to be able to draw gratitude from them. For example, if I have a meal, let's say it's the worst meal I've ever had, I'm still capable of going, you know what? I can say either, this is a bad meal, or I'm really grateful that I have a warm meal at all, right? That shift in perspective. And the third bucket, where we can pull gratitude examples from, are things that haven't even happened yet. Things that, from the last episode, we were putting into our intention. And so with this exercise, it can be very similar to the episode prior around intention, right? Where we're going to close our eyes, we put our hand on our heart, we're going to send our consciousness to our heart, and we're going to pull something from each one of these three lists for us to sit in, okay? So to review the lists again, the first one is things that you're grateful for today and in this moment, the more obvious things. The second one are things that you're fortunate for that you may overlook. The fact that we have running water, hot water, a home, a roof overhead, safety, right? And with that, we don't necessarily, at least I don't believe we necessarily get to choose where we're born into, right? So the idea that I was not born into some other part of the world that doesn't have those things, that is not of my doing. That is kind of just lucky and fortunate. And the third is having a vision for something in the future, right? Something that you can fall in love with, an intention that if anything, who knows if it really will ever happen, but for the sake of this exercise, you can have a three-dimensional holographic vision of something that you love. Place your hand in your heart, bring our consciousness to that vision. Cool? The last thing we tell our students is that gratitude doesn't happen out there. It happens in here. It doesn't happen in here. It happens in here. And it happens in the present moment, right? If gratitude is that doorway inwards, then the key is that present moment. And if I'm struggling with something and I'm able to use my acceptance tool to get to neutral, and then bringing in the gratitude tool to get into a positive state, all I need is just a little seed, just a little glimpse of hope. And if I can have a little glimpse of hope for something I'm grateful for, that can completely change my mood. If I'm in a poor mood, then I can have acceptance for that thing, bring in gratitude, and by using anything from these three different lists, I can begin to sit with that feeling until that seed's planted in my heart. Now the energy of it's different. Now I move on with my day. So with that, let's go ahead and do an exercise together, okay? So I want you to choose, have something from each one of those different lists, those three lists. And here we go. So go ahead and sit up tall, close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and gently inhale through your nose, down your chest, into your belly expanding, and exhale. Let's do that one more time. Another big inhale through your nose, down your chest, into your belly, and exhale. Okay, so continue to do this. And now we're going to bring in something from that first bucket. Something that you're grateful for today. And don't think of it as words on a list. Visualize it as a movie. And feel the sensation in your heart of how good it feels to be grateful for this movie. Grateful for this thing in your life. And the reason why we place our hands on our heart is wherever I have the sensation of being touched, my consciousness goes there. So if I'm touching my jaw, my consciousness goes there. If I'm touching my heart, my consciousness goes there. They say sometimes that's the longest journey, that 13-inch journey from the head to the heart, the small, still voice of the heart. And now let's take something from the second list, something you're fortunate for, that you have a warm meal, that you have hot water, that your family's healthy. Think about the alternative. And let's sit with that in our heart. There may be some sadness there. Part of that sadness is the gratitude. And now let's bring in something from that third list, something potentially in the future, a vision and an intention you have. Gently inhale, going down, visualize something from your intention in the future, feeling grateful that it's already happened. Don't imagine it as something in the future. Imagine it as a holographic vision that's happening right now. And this is just a taste of that exercise, right? So now we can see those three different lists And what I like to do is I like to have a couple examples in each of those lists I can really, really feel in my heart. And I kind of keep having to rotate them because after a while, something starts to lose its efficacy, right? And so by continuing to rotate examples, I have at all times 10 things that I can draw upon that I'm really grateful for. So if the day ever starts to get away from me, as a function of utility of these tools, I can hit the acceptance tool, go into gratitude, and start pulling from all 3 of these lists until the state in my heart has changed into a different vibration. And I'm ready to go off and share the goodness of the day. So with that, hopefully this has been helpful. Free your mind. Here we go.